Good morning, everybody. From today onwards, we are going to see higher secondary chemistry +2 higher secondary chemistry topics. From today, the first new lesson is solid state chemistry. That is the sixth lesson in State Board, Tamil Nadu State Board textbook, sixth lesson in first volume book. I take maximum effort to teach this topic in a simple way, and you may easily understand the concept very easily. Let us go to the topic. In everyday day-to-day life, we come across so many matters. That matters are classified into three types: solid, liquid and gas. In the case of solids, we study about the solids in this lesson. In the case of solids, they have a definite shape and a definite volume. Each solid having a definite shape. It may be a spherical or rectangle or cuboid in any three-dimensional structure, and having a definite volume also. And it is a rigid, it's a strong, and incompressibility. Incompressibility is nothing but no change in volume if any pressure is applied. If you apply any pressure, the volume should not change. That is called as incompressibility. And having a strong cohesive forces. Cohesive forces is nothing but interatomic forces. In the case of solid, there is so many atoms, and each atoms are attracted by themselves. That is called as interatomic forces. Is called as a strong cohesive forces, and short interatomic distances. In the case of solid, there is atoms are very close to each other due to the closing package of atoms. They have a definite shape and volume. Next, the ions and molecules having a fixed position. All the solids having atoms and ions are fixed position. But in the case of solid and liquid, in the case of liquid and gases, the atoms are not in a fixed position. There is atoms are in a mobile position. So there are all the characteristics of solids. Next, we go to see the classification of the solids. In the case of classification, solids are classified into crystalline solid and amorphous solid. In crystalline solids are further classified as ionic, covalent, molecular, metallic and atomic solids. And for next one, amorphous solid, there is a example is a glass and diamond. Let us see the crystal. Okay. Next, crystalline and amorphous. First, we know the difference between the crystalline and amorphous solids. In the case of crystalline solids, they have long range orderly arrangement. The atoms are arranged in a crystalline solids are very perfectly, and order is in a long range, not in a short range. But in the case of amorphous solids, the arrangement of atoms or molecules in a short range, and it is a orderly arrangement. The atoms are very perfectly and orderly arranged in the case of crystalline solid. But in the case of amorphous solid, it is a very short range arrangement. The atoms are arranged in a very short and at a particular position, and their arrangement of atoms are not in a perfect way. It is in a random position. And next one is they have a definite shape. All the crystalline solids having a definite shape. That is any particular shape. The shape is not as a external shape. The external shape means it's not in a perfect square or a cube or a spherical shape. The shape is defined as an internal structure. Here there is an internal structure having a perfect internal structure, that is a cubic close packing, hexagonal close packing, that type of structures. But in the case of amorphous, that type of shape is not in a regular position, that is a irregular shapes. Next one is a crystalline solid as an anisotropic, and amorphous is a isotropic. Okay, we studied deeply study in next pages. We deeply studied the difference between isotropic and anisotropic. Next one is for crystalline solid having a true solid. It is a perfect solid. But in the case of amorphous, it is not a true solid. It is just like as a solid. That is called as a pseudo solids, or otherwise it may be called it as a supercooled liquid. That is just like as a ice. So it is not a true solid, but crystalline is a true solid. And heat of fusion is having a definite heat of fusion for crystalline solid, but amorphous has not a definite heat of fusion, and it having a sharp melting point for crystalline solid at a perfect temperature. Example, let us take any crystalline solid. It will melt at a 900 degrees Celsius. When the temperature reaches the 900 degrees Celsius, it will lose its shape. Before 900, it should not change in its shape. But in the case of amorphous, there is no any perfect melting point. That is a gradually softness when we heat. Example for crystalline, all the crystals, not only sodium chloride, all the crystals are come under crystalline solids. For amorphous, that's a rubber, glasses. The type of rubber having no any sharp melting point, because when we heat a particular temperature, it lost its shape and gradually soften. Okay. Next we see the difference between isotropic and anisotropic. For isotropic, it is a definite structure having a it is a directional independent. It's independent of the direction. The atoms or molecules, in the case of isotropic, the atoms or molecules arranged in independent way. In any direction it may be arranged. In the case of isotropic, it is a randomly arranged of atoms and molecules. But in the case of anisotropic, the atoms or molecules arranged in a definite direction. That is a directional dependent. So in the case of anisotropic, the atoms and molecules are regularly arranged. But in the case of isotropic, the atoms or molecules are not regularly arranged. That is a direction of the arrangement of molecule may be in a different position. Next one, in the case of isotropic, the physical properties of the crystal system, that is a refractive index and electrical conductance, are identical in the case of isotropic. But in the case of anisotropic, it is not identical. It is a variable values for the refractive index and electrical conductance. That type of physical property may be variable. That is the main difference between isotropic and anisotropic. Next one, see the classification of crystals. The crystals are classified. We already studied that the crystals are classified. Crystalline solids are classified in ionic crystals, covalent crystals, molecular crystals, metallic crystals, and atomic crystals. First we see about the ionic crystals. In the case of ionic crystals, the example for ionic crystal is a sodium chloride. This ionic crystal having a high melting point because the attractive force between the atoms or ions are very, very tightly attractive. So the melting point is very high and not conduct electricity in a crystalline in a solid state. In solid state, it will not conduct electricity. But when the ionic crystals are in a dissolved or molten state, it will conduct electricity, because in a dissolved and molten state there is a formation of free electrons. Here you note that the free electron means there is a free ions. There is in the case of sodium chloride, there is a free movement of sodium and chlorine ions, not a free electron. That is taken as a free ions. There is a formation of free ions in the case of dissolved and molten state. But in the case of solid state, the ions are rigid themselves. That is a very close packed, and sodium ion is tightly attract the chlorine ion. So there is no free movement of ions in the case of solid state. But when in the dissolved or molten state, there is a formation of free ions. Due to the formation of free ions, it will be conducted electricity. Next one is the hard. There is a strong external forces. Due to the presence of hard and strong external forces, it's having a high melting point. Next one is a covalent solid. We know that well familiar about the covalent solid, that is a diamond and the silicon carbide. Silicon carbide, it used in your crucibles for science experiments. It is a very high melting crystals. That is silicon carbide and diamond. We know that they are all the very hot, high melting point, and not conduct electricity. Very poor conductor of thermal and electrical conductivity is very low in the case of covalent solid, because there is no formation of ions. Due to the not forming of ions, it's a low poor conductivity of electricity. Next one is the molecular solids. In the case of molecular solids, the weak van der Waals forces, the presence of forces exist in the molecular solid is a very weak van der Waals forces. And soft, very soft solids, or that is a molecular solid, and not conduct electricity, because there is not possible to presence of ions, that is free movement of ions. This molecular solid is classified into nonpolar, polar and hydrogen molecular solids. In the case of nonpolar, that is a weak dispersion forces, that is a London forces. It is one of the forces. Is a London forces is a very weak forces. It is not a bond. We know that there is a ionic bond, covalent bond. There is a transfer of electron. It is that ionic and covalent bonds are strong, but in the case of forces, London forces, there is no transfer of bonds. Just there is a attraction of ions. Just there is a attraction of molecules. Okay. That is a very weak forces. London forces are dispersion forces. Due to the very low force of attraction, having a low melting point, that type of non-polar molecules are mostly in your liquid or gases. Example, carbon dioxide, naphthalene. There are examples of non-polar molecules, and sometimes that's called as anthracene. Naphthalene, we know that is a camp. Here, very important is a carbon dioxide. It is just in a gaseous state. Okay. Here there is a non-polar molecules. Another one is a polar molecular solids, having a polar covalent bonds. There is a presence of bond. That's a polar covalent bond. The bond exists in polar molecule is a covalent bond, and it's a slightly polar. The slightly polarization is due to the presence of dipole interaction between the solids. The example for polar molecules is a solid carbon dioxide, not normal carbon dioxide. It's a normal carbon dioxide having a non-polar molecules, but solid carbon dioxide is a polar molecules. Polar means slightly polarized. Let us take an HCl. It is slightly polarized to form H and Cl. That is not a completely polarized. In the case of sodium chloride, it's a completely ionized. NaCl is completely ionized to form Na plus ion and Cl minus ion. That is completely transfer of electron from sodium to chlorine. That is type of bond is a total, that is completely polarized. It is a partially polarized molecules. That is a partially polarized mean not transfer of electron, complete transfer of electron from hydrogen to chlorine. That is a partially transfer of electron from hydrogen to chlorine. That type of bond is exists in the case of polar solid molecular solids. Example is carbon dioxide and ammonia. Next one is a hydrogen bond. The hydrogen bonding is exists between the hydrogen atom and with the highly electronegative atom. It's a very important. In the case of HX means X is a highly electronegative atom. The bond is existing between the hydrogen atom and highly electronegative atom is called as a hydrogen bond. Let us take a water H2O. Here we taken two molecules of water. For one molecule the hydrogen ion, bonded with the another molecule of oxygen, that is called as a hydrogen bonding. So let us take the one molecule of hydrogen, a hydrogen atom containing one molecule of water is bonded with the another molecule of oxygen atom, that is called as a hydrogen bonding. Next one is metallic solids. Negatively charged ions. Here there is a negative and positive charges. Very easily explaining for metallic solids. The positive charge is immersed in the sea of negative ions. Here note that will be taken as a water type, that is a negative ion. Here note that the positive ion is immersed in the negative ions, and it will indicate that the number of positive ion is definitely equal to the number of negative ions. It is called as a metallic solids. The positive ion is immersed in the mobile negative ions. It is called as a metallic solids. Here also the positive negative ion number is equal, and we know that there is a hard. All the metallic solids are hard and having a high melting point and boiling point. It will perfectly conduct electricity, and the thermal conductivity is very good. Example, all the metals and mixing of metals, that is called as a alloys. Okay, all the metals and alloys having classified under metallic solids. Okay, first see the crystal lattice and unit cell. The unit cell is a basic repeating structural unit of the crystalline solids. Unit cell, it is a three-dimensional structure in a x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. In x-axis, at a particular point it will be intercept. That point is taken to be as a and for y-axis it is a particular point, that is the intercept, that is taken to be as a B, and for z-axis it is a intercept distance is a C. The intercepting distance may be variable to each and every unit cells. Okay, next there is an angle. The angle is between the two axes is called as a, that is a angle of the crystals, interceptor angles. Okay. There is a three types of angle. One is alpha, beta and gamma. Each angle having at a particular each angle having a different edges. Let us taken for gamma angle, it is the edges between A and B edges. Next for alpha, B and C edges. Next for beta, A and C edges. Not it is a fixed type. We may taken as a alpha in a and C, and A and B taken to be as a beta, and B and C taken as a gamma. It is not a restricted one. The angle is fixed in ourselves also. Next one is a crystal lattice. Crystal lattice is nothing but three-dimensional arrangement of the unit cell. That is, a unit cell is arranged in three-dimensionally, that is in the x-axis and y-axis and z-axis. That is three-dimensionally arrangement of that unit cell. We know that the unit cell is a basic portion of the crystalline systems. That unit cell is arranged in a different direction, that is in a x direction and y direction and z direction, is called as a crystal lattice. Next one is a primitive and non-primitive unit cell. Primitive unit cell is nothing but the basic portion of the unit cell, that is a unit cell having an atom only at a corner position is called as a basic unit cell. It is called as a primitive unit cells. And for non-primitive, other than corner atom, there must be an atom in a face side or center side or in a edge side. It's called as a non-primitive. The primitive is nothing but it's a basic unit of the crystal lattice. and the atoms are must be in a only in a corners. When your atoms are only in a corner cells, it is called as a primitive, and there must be a atom must be in a corner, and again there is a atoms must be in a center of the unit cell or face center in any other position other than corner. There is any other position, it is called as a non-primitive unit cell. Next one is another important one is 7 primitive crystal systems. That is 7 primitive crystal systems. The structure of the 7 crystal primitive system is one is the cubic, that is the structure. Next one is a rhombohedral. Another one is a hexagonal. Fourth one is a tetragonal. Next one is a orthorhombic. Next one is a monoclinic. Another one is a triclinic. That is the 7 crystal systems. In examination purpose, the mostly not asking the structure of the system, mostly they are asking the edge lengths and edge angles. Okay, so for NEET and IIT JEE type of examination, they given any name of the 7 crystal system and one of the name, and asking what is its corresponding edge lengths and edge angles. Okay, yeah, there is a small tricks to easily remember the 7 crystal system edge length and edge angle. First, you should write the 7 system in this way, that is a cubic, tetragonal, orthorhombic, rhombohedral. The another name of rhombohedral is a trigonal. Next one is a hexagonal, monoclinic, triclinic. The corresponding edge length and edge angle are given. For easily remember this 7 crystal system is in its order, we write it as it is as this form: CTORHMT. That is, C is indicating the cubic, T is a tetragonal, O is a orthorhombic, R is a rhombohedral, H is a hexagonal, M is monoclinic, T is triclinic. Okay, we may remember this letters in any one of the mnemonic words. Example, class teacher, that is a chemistry teacher, organic reaction, high mental torture, that is chemistry teacher teaching organic reaction, highly mental torture. That type of mnemonic words we may use. It is your thinking capacity. Next one is a C, that is a cubic. The 3 edge lengths are not equal. For tetragonal, one of the edge lengths is not equal. For orthorhombic, all the 3 edge lengths are not equal. Similarly, again the first 3 is again repeated. Both 3 are equal, one is not equal, both 3 are not equal. For triclinic, it is also both the 3 edge lengths are not equal. Next we see the cubic edge. For triclinic, its edge lengths are not equal. Next we see about the edge angle. Alpha, beta, gamma is equal to 90. Alpha, beta, gamma is also 90 for tetragonal. For orthorhombic, alpha, beta, gamma is also 90. For rhombohedral, alpha, beta, gamma, here gamma is not is equal to 90 and alpha, beta is equal to 90 for rhombohedral. For hexagonal, alpha, beta is equal to 90, gamma is equal to 120 degree. For monoclinic, alpha, gamma is 90, beta is not equal to 90. For triclinic, all the 3 angles, alpha, beta, gamma and gamma, all are not equal to 90. You may note that first cubic and triclinic, the edge length here for cubic is a symmetric, that is a perfectly equal. The edge angle also equal to 90. So it is a symmetric crystal system. Cubic is a symmetric crystal system. The remaining all the 6 systems are not symmetric, but here note that the triclinic is a highly unsymmetric, totally unsymmetric, because the edge length is not even any 2 edge lengths are equal. for remaining 5 crystal system. But for triclinic, all the 3 edge lengths are not equal. Similarly, all the 3 edge angles also not equal to 90. So it is a highly unsymmetric crystal system. Okay, that's all. Next one is the crystal system structures are based on the 6 factors. The structure of the crystal system, 7 crystal system, is decided by the 6 factor. 6 factor means nothing but 3 is edge lengths, that is A, B, C. That is A, B, C. These 3 A, B, C. And next one is alpha, beta and gamma. This 3 is edge length, the 3 is edge angles. These 3 plus 3, 6 system decide the structure of the 7 crystal system. When with any changes in the system, the structure also changed. That's all. Next one is out of this 7 crystal system, there is a 14 Bravais lattice. That's a 14 Bravais lattice for cubic. That is a primitive system. Another one is a non-primitive system. It's a classified. For cubic, the primitive is 1. Non-primitive is 2. One is a body center, another one is a face centered cubic. These 2, body center and face center, are non-primitive system. The simple cubic is a primitive. For tetragonal, primitive is a 1 and non-primitive is also 1, that is in a body center. Next one is a hexagonal, only 1 primitive system, there is no non-primitive system. For orthorhombic, 1 primitive basic system and 3 body center, face center and basic face center. These 3 are non-primitive system. For monoclinic, one is a basic system, primitive system is 1 and non-primitive is a basic face centered. For trigonal and triclinic, only a basic primitive system, there is no non-primitive system. When we calculate this structure, that is count this structure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That 14 systems are Bravais lattices. So in this Bravais lattice, 14 system higher, that's a primitive is 7, non-primitive also 7. Here note that for hexagonal, important one, hexagonal and trigonal triclinic, that 3 crystal system only having a primitive only, there is no non-primitive system. The another 3 cubic, for cubic it is a 2, for orthorhombics 3, monoclinic 1, totally 7. That is that remaining having a 3 primitive, that is that 3 system having a non-primitive systems. Okay, that's it. Okay, this session is over. In this session, we see about the classification of solids. So, how to classify the solids, and next one see the difference between, that is a types of solid, that is a crystalline and a amorphous. What is the difference between crystalline solid and amorphous solid? Next one we see about the classification of crystalline solids, that is ionic crystals, covalent crystals, metallic crystals, the type of crystals. Next one is a crystal lattice and unit cells. So how the crystal lattice are formed through unit cells. Next very important topic is crystal systems. There are 7 crystal systems and how it is depend upon the edge length and edge angles. Today's session is over. The remaining portion is we see in a next class.